Well, here we are once again, everyone. Good morning, and good morning to all of you. This is another great opportunity for us to take today. It's a beautiful Monday out. The sun is shining. What more can I say? It's a great opportunity for us to come together, talk about the things that matter the most. That thing we call Monday Mental Real Estate, and it's back again. Once again, Monday Mental Real Estate has stepped right in. You know what? Because it matters so much. Everything that we do every day, it seems to happen every single day. And you know what? We can't avoid it. You just can't avoid it. So before I even get started, let me ask you, how was your weekend? Did you spend time with someone that you love? Did you spend time with someone that loved you back? Did you get an opportunity to grow and learn from somebody that had some of the best interests in mind when it comes to you? And your mentality is so important right now that every time, every day, every opportunity that we get, we just can't miss it. I tell you one thing for certain, two things for sure, is that this life that you live is definitely going to find its way to give back to somebody else that really needs that elbow, that jump, that nudge, that little thing that's just going to propel them and move them into something better in their life. And Monday Mental Real Estate is here, y'all. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to pause this because we got to get right into this thing. We can't even mess around today because Monday Mental Real Estate is designed for you. What am I talking about? Monday Mental Real Estate is about talking about the most important things in life, the perspective of your thought, talking about the positive and negative contributors to your mindset. And what does that mean for you? Absolutely everything. Every day that we move around, we can't avoid it. Mental real estate is right there. Every time you think about something, it's mental real estate. Every time you move on something, it's mental real estate, because it's talking about your perspective of thought and how it applies not only to you, but to the people that you're connected to. So today, let me get right into this life application thing, because you know what? I'm reminded, just like all of us have lived this life long enough to be reminded, I'm reminded of those days of being that child again, because these were my good years of the teenage days. Do y'all remember your teenage days? Now, let me remind you some of the things that I remember of my teenage days. I can remember when we used to be kids, there used to be an amusement park that used to be down the street from where we grew up and from where we lived, because there was a lot of things happening in our city back then. And I mean, you know, it's not like going to the major amusement parks, but I'm talking about this one park that was in Topeka, Kansas, that stayed there all the time. Now, I didn't get a chance to see it when it was first in existence, but I got a chance to experience it before it was over. It was called Boyle's Joyland. Now, a lot of us remember, if you're from that area, Boyle's Joyland was an amazing place to go. As a child, man, it was a place to go in our local city, and it was right inside of the city. Now, we could go there, we could ride these rides, we could spend time with our friends. They had all of the little amusement things that you can throw the balls and you can win stuffed teddy bears. They even had a go-kart track. Now, I loved it because go-karts, you know, a thing for a kid to do back in my day was go-karting, man. If you got a chance to get on one of them things, you felt like you was at the Indy 500 because it was so much fun. But you know what happened? I mean, they sold the corn dogs, they sold all of these things, the funnel cakes, all of these things at this little amusement park called Boyle's Joyland. Now, I love Boyle's Joyland, but you know one thing I realized is that it wasn't going to last forever. I think they closed Boyle's Joyland before I could even get out of high school. But we used to spend some of our time going there, and we had some of the best times, but it has changed. Now, what has it changed from? I can remember Boyle's Joyland being there, but I could also remember when it changed to, I think it was a Sonic they had went to. And, you know, as I got older, I ended up working at that location for a lot of years. It was actually my first job. But they had so many good things going on. But you know what? Even the Sonic that I worked at years ago is not there anymore because the area has changed. Now, it's funny because I'm thinking about it. All of these things that have changed, I can remember when we used to go down to some of the low-income areas where a lot of us grew up in some of the poor neighborhoods. And I can remember down on, there's this place called Ripley, which was actually a good area for us to be hanging out back in the day. It wasn't necessarily the best place to live, but as kids, we loved hanging out there. Now, what was so important about this place? Because I can remember when I was a kid, we would always walk down the street or across the street, and there was a little building there, and it was called the fish market. They had a fish market there, well, sometimes, and they had a pool table in there. You go in there and you get your fried fish. They would always be smelling that fried fish, no matter where you was at. If you went down 4th Street, you went past a certain area, you knew that there was going to be some fish cooking, because you go there and get your fried mushrooms, you can get your okra, you can get your fried fish. But that fish market was there forever. But that area has changed now. Then I'm reminded one more thing. I can remember how my uncle used to take me down to this place on the corner store all the time down on Golden. And it was right there at the corner of Golden, California. And it was the barbershop. His man's name was Joe. Joe had a barbershop, and he would always cut everybody's hair in the neighborhood. And everybody knew Joe. And my uncle would go there religiously all the time to Joe's barbershop, because you got the best conversation. You got the best haircut. You was in one of the best areas that our community had. And you know what? People would meet up at the barbershop to get their hair cut. But you know what I think about now as I'm older is that it's not there anymore, because it has changed. Monday Mental Real Estate, talking about some of those things in our lives that have changed. Now, you can remember a lot of the things that you grew up, and this is funny because I love those things that I talk to you about, because I'm so reminded of so many different things in life that as we get up and we grow up and we grow older, you'll remember that there are places you went when you were kids. And you can go to some of those areas today and look around and you see that it's changed. It's not the same. You know what's funny is that the kids these days don't even understand what it was and how significant the area used to be when we would stand there and we could see those things. We could be a part of it, and we could remember all of the memories we created from these areas, but the area has changed. Now, in your Monday Mental Real Estate, let me ask you, because we're not just talking about the natural things, we're talking about the memories of change. Now, when you talk about the memories of change, what is it about the things that have changed in your life? Because you can remember, like, some of those houses you grew up in. You know what I'm talking about. Some of those areas you grew up in. You know what I'm talking about. It's funny how you can go back and visit some of those things in those areas that you lived in or grew up in, and now it's a corner store. Now it's a parking lot. Now it's a different business. And it kind of hurts a little bit when you remember that you grew up in some of these same streets and same neighborhoods, but they're just not the same. Why? Because they have changed. So Monday Mental Real Estate is going to help you build your perspective today. And that perspective is why. Here's the question. Why? Because just as I said, we can remember all these things. And you know what? But why does it bother us sometimes when we look back? Now, I'm not saying it bothers you for you to get so bothered that it irritates you. It shouldn't be an irritation, but it should be a very fond memory of remembering the things that have changed. Now, when I asked the question today, here is your question for today. Why does change affect your mentality? Now, I'm asking you the question because it's so important for you to understand, but it's also important for me to know and how to grow. It's understanding that through the years, why does change affect our mentality? Now, some of y'all may, this is going to help y'all grow up on a few things today, but I got to give it to you. So let's dig in because we don't have long. Monday Mental Real Estate, understanding your perspective. Now, change affects mentality. Listen, because it disrupts our sense of comfort and predictability. I hope you're listening. It disrupts our sense of comfort and predictability, activating negative biases and a natural resistance to the unknown. A natural resistance to the unknown, which can create stress, anxiety, and depression. However, even positive change can be stressful by pushing us out of our comfort zone and routines, leading to psychological adjustment challenges that can be managed by adopting healthier thought patterns and coping strategies. Now, why change is hard on the mind? Listen, here we go, y'all. Now, why is change so hard on the mind? Now, it's funny because I'm talking to you about all these things we grew up All these things we remember. But it's funny how I'm well off into my latter years, but I can still remember the things that happened when I was 13, 14 years old. And they're so vivid. But listen, why is change hard on the mind? A loss of comfort and routine. Our mental well-being often relies on a stable routine and a sense of comfort. Change, even positive change, disrupts this equilibrium, forcing us to adapt to new ways of doing things and making us feel less in control. Ooh, I ain't done yet. Uncertainty biases. The brain often defaults to assuming the worst in uncertain situations, a phenomenon called uncertainty bias. This can automatically influence decisions and increase anxiety when faced with new circumstances. Now, loss aversion. Humans are psychologically wired to feel the pain of a loss. Wow. Let me read that again. Psychologically wired. Humans are psychologically wired to feel the pain of a loss more acutely than the pressure of an equivalent gain. Ooh. This loss aversion can make us resistant to change as we focus on what we might lose rather than what we might gain. Oh my goodness. Why does change affect the mentality? Boy, I'm educating today. Listen here. Threats to identity. Significant changes can challenge our established sense of self by threatening the identity we hold most dear, which can be a major source of stress. Now, listen here. How do we cope? How do we cope with change? Acknowledge your feelings. Here we go. Now, this is mental real estate, shifting that perspective. Acknowledge your feelings. Recognize and accept both the positive and negative. I love this stuff because it's mental real estate. Recognize and accept both the positive and negative emotions that arise during a change, whether it was expected or a shock. Okay. Challenge negative thoughts. Here we are. We're talking about how to cope with the change of the effects of the mentality. Challenge negative thoughts. Question irrational beliefs and try to reframe negative thoughts, such as those driven by uncertainty bias. Develop healthy coping mechanisms. Listen now. Develop healthy coping mechanisms. And a lot of us might want to stop right here for just a second. Employ techniques like mindfulness and deep breathing to manage stress and gain more control over your mental state. That's funny because they said something in there that really hits home when we're talking about deep breathing. How many times have you been able to just inhale and exhale? And people, I remember when people used to say that to me when I would go through things, just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I'm like, what does that do? I don't understand. Why am I doing that? But the fact of the matter is, it does help. It helps you to manage stress and gain more control over your mental state. Now, focus on strength. Remind yourself of past challenges you've overcome and focus on your inherent strengths to build confidence for the future. Now, two more things. Use if and then planning. Create implementation intentions or if-then rules to prepare for potential obstacles and maintain routines, even when circumstances change. Even when circumstances change, create implementations, intentions, or if-then rules to prepare for potential obstacles and maintain routines. Now, lastly, adopt a growth mindset. Adopt a growth mindset. Cultivate the belief that your qualities can be developed through effort, seeing challenges as opportunities rather than the unsurmountable weakness. Now, mental real estate. Talking about that thing we call change. Because in the life of change, there are a lot of things that we have and a lot of obstacles that we go through. Now, this is something that's going to kind of strike a little bit, but it's going to have to come because it has to hit home. Now, think about this. We grow up to change. We're children, we change. We're young adults, we change. We become adults, we change. You get older, you change. Now, listen to this, because when we're talking about the change that we're talking about, it's not just about, oh, you've changed, this person has changed, that person has changed. We know these things. We accept these things. We understand what change can look like. But listen, when it comes to the changes that really bring you to the change, what is it that you've come through? What is it that you've gone through? And what are the things that we can live with or that we can live without? Because when we're talking about something as simple or as basic as we would like to say the word change, where is the relevance in your life? Because the change and the relevance in your life is going to help you know one of two things. You're moving forward or you're regressing. But the one thing in life that is constant and continuous is change. Now, let me say this, because we were born to change. Because sin invaded into the world, and sin has invaded into the obstacles of life where there has to be change. Sin has reared its head in an area in everyone's life when we stepped out here in this life, and we didn't really understand that when it comes to that word S-I-N, sin, that when we live this life, we're going to have these challenges. We're going to have these obstacles. We're going to have these hurdles. We're going to have so many things to overcome because of this thing called sin. And because of sin, we have to consistently evolve through change. Wow. If it didn't exist, let me ask you, would we have a need to necessarily change in our lives if we didn't have the challenges of what we go through every day? If we didn't have the obstacles of temptations every single day, would we really need to change? But see, some of us want to be better. That's funny, because I wonder why when I was a kid and we would go to church all the time, how all of these people would be doing all these things in the church. And it seemed to be the most active people in the church were what? The elders. Now, the kids were just drug along. They shoveled us in. Y'all come on in here, sit down, don't you say nothing. It's time for church. And when we go to church, oh my God, we had some of the best times, but man, we had some of the most boring times in church. Why? Because we didn't understand what changed looked like. We didn't understand it. But as you live your life and you realize that there's things in life that are going to change, we have a reassurance. Now, let me say this, because we have a reassurance when there's things in life that do change, because the fact of the matter is when it does change, you have to be grateful and look at the one thing that never changes. Now listen to this, because if you realize something and you're going to understand a few things, is that when it comes to change, yes, it's hard to accept. Yes, it's hard to see that house we grew up in get demolished. It's not there anymore. Yes, it was hard for me to see my granny's house that was built by her husband that she lived in for over 60 something years. And now that she has moved on, that house has been demolished. It's not there anymore. It's a street parking lot. There's nothing there anymore. But you still have the memory of what it was like before it changed. You still have the memory of what it was like when you was a kid and what you grew up with when you have changed. You still have the memory of what it was like to have reared your children and seen them as babies. You still have the memory of how they moved around you because things have changed, but you haven't forgotten what it was like before the change. But isn't it a gratifying thing when you can realize that in your lifetime, we've done things we haven't been proud of because we changed. We've gone places we wouldn't have never gone to when we changed. We've said things we didn't really mean to say or that we wasn't intending to say because we changed. We have moved in different areas of our life where we've affected people. If you think back, we've affected people's livelihoods because we changed. We've also hurt people that we loved because we changed. That's funny, because if we could just remain those same individuals that our parents raised, we would have been probably just all right, pretty good. But we changed. We got older. We developed a mentality of our own, and we started moving around and doing things different. We started going out to the places that we wanted to have fun. We started trying and exploring things that we may have should have left alone that messed with our mentality. We got engaged in drugs or alcohol, or extracurricular activities with your physical body. We got engaged in a lot of things that we didn't necessarily have intentions to do, but we changed. Think about this, y'all. What about the one thing in life that's consistent, constant, never moves, never budges, has the same itinerary every single day of your life, has the same adjustment every single day of your life, the same thing that we have, that we would have in our parents, but now we got a higher source? What if all the things that you went through led you to believe that there's one day that a God that we serve decided to change? Woo! Where would we be? Because the one thing I know is that through everything that we've been through, God is the one constant in life that doesn't change. Now, why is it so important that I'm telling you this? Because we seem to grade ourselves and our lives off of the ability to change. We've graded other people on their lives and their ability to change. But we've also moved forward in our life where we've seen change. We step back from life when we realize we've changed. We've given ourselves highs, we've given ourselves lows because we have changed. But aren't you glad that there's a God that we know, or that we serve, or whatever your faith system is, whatever you believe in? Aren't you glad there's an opportunity that you can go no matter how you are? Said what? Come as you are. That no matter how you show up, he doesn't change. No matter how you bring it to him, he knows he doesn't change. And the thing is that the changes in life that were there are necessary, but why are they necessary? I'm going to hit you with something real quick, because when we're talking about what's necessary in this life and why people change, why people don't change, have you ever stopped to think that if you had not changed, you could not get where you're trying to go? Had you not changed, you might miss your wagon. You might miss your ride. But here's the thing. I love it because we get an opportunity to grow. We get an opportunity to spend time. We get an opportunity to mature. Did you hear that? To mature. Because listen, if we could step in front of God right now, we wouldn't be able to. We would just explode, implode, whatever it is, because we couldn't humanly be prepared for what our eyes would possibly see. So we would be consumed by what it would be to be in the presence of an almighty God. But it's funny because there's still change that takes place even after the change is done in your life. Because to get where you're going, you still got to change. Because it didn't say, I'm taking you as you are. I'm going to now take you from this earthly flesh, this earthly skin, this body that you're in now, and we got to restructure this thing. I got to put you in something that can sustain yourself, that you can sustain, so that you can be in the presence of Almighty. Now, it's funny because mental real estate is about building the perspective of thought. But your perspective of thought is helping you understand what change really looks like. It's not just your neighborhood. It's not just the people that you remember. It's not just the places that you go. It's not the physical touch or the ability. It's not just the mentality. It's about the change in the preparation of your life. The reason why God doesn't change and why he's so consistent in everything that he's done, because he's already been the author. He's already been the finisher of your life. He's already decided and knows and determined the steps before you was ever born. He knew the steps of your life. So the fact is, why should he have to change? And if your steps have been ordered, you're going to know that you're going to have to walk this path. You're going to have to take a certain direction. And in this certain direction, you may move a certain way that you don't agree with. You may learn a certain way that you didn't ask for. There's certain lessons in life that you didn't sign up for, but you're going to have to go through it because you're in preparation for a change. If you're in preparation for a change, he's like, look, I love you. I want you to do all these things. I need you to get better. In order to get you to this level that you prayed for, I'm going to need you to do a little bit more. And sometimes I got to get under the surface and I got to clean some things up before I can polish you for that elevation that God has for you. I got to polish you for that elevation that is going to come into your life. I got to polish you for that relationship that's going to help make everything so much better for you. Because the ultimate ending is once we get ourselves polished, you can't be fitted for your new suit with dirty clothes. Let me say this again. You can't be fitted for your new suit when you're wearing dirty clothes. So you got to sometimes take those clothes off. You got to do what? You got to put them in the wash. You got to add a little detergent. You got to add something that's going to buff out some of the rough spots. That's going to get those stains out. That's going to clean up those things. Get that funk out of there. Get that smell out of those clothes so that they can smell fresh again. Isn't it something when you put on your clean clothes and you realize that shirt that you got on, first thing you do is what? You smell it. And when you smell it, does it smell good? If it don't, then you know it ain't for you to be putting on, throw that back in the laundry. But if it smells good, it's for a reason. It went through the process of cleaning. But not only did it go through the process of cleaning, it went through the process of change. Your life matters more every single day because we have the ability to change. Your life is doing more every single day because we realize it's necessary for change. So listen, have those memories. Remember what it was like growing up. Remember those neighborhoods that we went through. All those streets we used to play in all night, going in the house when the street lights come on. Remember all those times of kids spending the night at your house and you spending the night at theirs. The neighborhood would feed you if you was walking down the street and you hadn't eaten yet. Tell your mama that I already fed you. She don't have to worry about it. Y'all come on in here. Everybody wash your hands because you have no idea what you've been into today. So, and it's funny because I miss those times when our friends were really friends because we developed friendships through neighborhoods. Neighborhoods developed communities because we had friendships through the neighborhood. So when we got older, we looked out for each other. That's funny how you see somebody from 40 years ago, you ain't seen in a long time, but you still built a relative relationship because you had an opportunity to grow up together. So this is what I'm talking about. But the things in life have changed. It's not the same because it can't be. Because now we're in preparation for the change. We're not just getting older, we're in preparation as we get older for the change. This life is not going to last long. And you can tell it right now because you already know. Blink your eyes twice and look over your shoulder and you're going to say, wow, everything has went lightning speed. How did we get to this age? How do we get to this place? How do we develop where we are right now? Because it's by accepting that things have changed. When we was younger, we used to talk about, I didn't want to turn 30. Oh my God, I come out of my 20s. I didn't want to turn 40. Oh my God, I came out of my 30s. By the time you got past that, you're like, you know what? It's just how life changes. So the fact of the matter is, God bless you all today. Remember that change is inevitable, but also remember, we have to be grateful and thankful for no matter what we go through. We still serve an awesome God that does not change. The rules of life have been laid out. Your steps have been ordered. And when it came to the transition of your life, you're going through everything. We're going through everything to get to this place. But man, where would we be if we decide one day, God, we're going to give it all to you. And then when we look up and we try to give it all to him, we say, hold on. I'm hanging out with my boys right now. We playing golf right now. What y'all talking about? Oh, I didn't change. I don't do that no more. Imagine if us trying to get into heaven and God looks at us and says, oh, I've changed. I don't do that no more. Y'all on your own, figure it out. I got things to do. Can you imagine what life would be for every single human on this earth if God decided one day to pick up his mantle and just change? There's no way, because there's an end game to this. Because before this is all said and done, even when you're laid down on that bed, when you close your eyes and you take your last breath, there's still a transition of change, and it's waiting for you. So God bless you all. I hope that Monday Mental Real Estate continues to help you grow, to know and understand more about this thing in life called change, because your perspective is everything. Not only is it going to lead you into better days, it's going to lead you into a better life. It's going to lead you into a better opposition, a better proposition, a better situation, a better condition. It's going to lead you everywhere in life that it has for you to go. So stay tuned with yourself. Stay in tune with the people that you love. Continue to understand and embrace the fact that life is changing. and so are you. This is not a joke. It's not a game. This is very real when it comes to your mental real estate. So continue to grow so we can go. And God bless you all. Let's move on for this day and let me shout some people out. Thank you for taking your time. Yolanda Shaheed. Woo! Let me say good morning to you, my friend, my sister, my support, my keeper when it comes to mental real estate. Thank you for all that you do. Continue to be great on purpose. You are intentional with all that you do. Thank you so much. Chandrika McGow, what's going on? Arthur, how you doing, Arthur? God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that I said something that has helped you today. God bless you in your steps on your journey. Continue to do what is necessary because people still need to hear that word from you. You haven't seen the stages yet, but they're right there in front of you. Eventually, take your place because it's all full of grace. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Who else we got in here today? Jenna Thompson. What's going on? I see you. Thanks for tuning in. I thank you so much for following Mental Real Estate. Have yourself a great day, Miss Thompson. And you know what? As always, love you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for continuing to be faithful. I appreciate you. And listen, Jenna Thompson, continue to have a great day. Things will turn around as we continue to move forward. I don't know who Whitney Lamont is, but thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And last but not least, charge you to the head and not the heart. If I missed you, it's not intentional. I just read through the comments and see who's here. Brenda Redmond, my mother. God bless you, mama. My life's blood, my reason for my season. Continue to go, mama, like you do. I'm so proud of you. Let me tell you this time, I'm so proud of you. Thank you for keeping your head up. Don't hang it down. Keep your head up because you inspire so many people. It's not just about you no more, is it? It's about all that you touch, all the people that you have inspired, mama. And you know what? You're going on your way. So many people are trying to get to a place that you've been, but they don't understand your journey. But remember, everything that you do is intentional, and more people will continue to follow and love what you do. God is always a part of you, and you are a part of him as well. So God bless you, mama. Thank you for tuning in. And God bless the rest of y'all, and have yourself a great day and a safe week. And I can't wait to talk to you again next week because I'm preparing to leave the country. I got work to do, y'all. So God bless you all, and thank you again. Take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. Dr. Michael Freeland, another Monday. Mental Real Estate is in the books. God bless you. Take care, guys. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.